All right, it is 3 days from game day, and this week our beloved Utes are on the road in Pasadena, back at a place they called home on January 1st in the Rose Bowl against UCLA. All righty, let's get into it right after this.
For a first down. Nice. That's the shot I'm talking about. There it is. Over the middle. It's caught. Touchdown. Devon Valet. That's beautiful, man. I'd get Carlson a touch on the block. Carlson from deep, and we're tied.
Got the win. This is a victory lap of sorts for the super senior.
Ginormous double out.
Okay, Utah fans, UCLA fans, if you happen to be watching this, and anybody else who happen to stumble upon this, good college football fans who want as much college football content as they can get, let's go. So, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Lanky Boy 1. He won the score contest last week. He was 11 points off. Joe versus Joe. By the way, that's my daughter and son-in-law. They do a top 25 college program, YouTube channel. Check it out. Joe, J-O, V-S, J-O-E. That's my daughter's Jordan and my son-in-law's Joseph. So, it's really great. They give a lot of fantastic coverage, so give them a look and a subscribe and a like. They have a really fun gig going there. I'm going to leave a link below in the description. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you're watching, please go ahead and take just a second. I'll wait. Okay, did you hit that subscribe button? Okay, let's get back to it. Joe versus Joe was only off 12 points, and I was off 14. So it was 1, 2, 3. I was third. I got the bronze medal this week. Okay, let's see. Let's talk some stats. I'm a stat guy. I like stats, so we're going to have a little fun. This is stat week, and there'll probably be a lot more stats going forward now that we're kind of into the meat of the schedule, or schedule, as they like to say in England, our former motherland. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's take a look at so UCLA's 5-0. They're on a 9-game winning streak, 5-0 this year. Won the last 4 games of last year, 5-4. For all you math wizards, you should know it's 9. So they had a really close game this year, though, against University of South Alabama. Now, let's take a look at who University of South Alabama is. They have beaten Nicholls, Central Michigan, Louisiana Tech, and, a nail-biter with a last-second field goal to beat powerhouse Louisiana Lafayette. And I was being sarcastic there, just in case you couldn't tell. So, my point is, I'm not sure we really know who UCLA is. They beat Washington, who is still ranked after having lost to UCLA, 40-32. They were shut out in the fourth quarter, 16-0 by Washington. So, probably one of the cases where they kind of took their foot off the gas. Not 100% sure. They were up 40-16 in the fourth quarter and just said, we don't need to, rub it in or whatever. But Washington hasn't beat anybody very good. Yeah, they beat a ranked Michigan State at the time, but Michigan State has proved to be at best. And yes, that is a technical football term, by the way. Now, so we don't know really. I don't think Washington's as good as maybe as the polls have them. And if they're not as good, and considering UCLA's questionable, literally last-second field goal win over University of South Alabama, how good are they? I'm not sure. And to be honest, I'm not sure how good we are. Now, I talked a little bit about, the offense and defense, especially the lines against Oregon State. And, we did what we needed to do to win. It was a bend, don't break kind of a thing on defense. And they did have a couple of good trick plays that got us. But, so I really think that, we had a solid game, very solid game against San Diego State, and then another very solid game against Arizona State. Arizona State ran the ball a lot better against USC than they did against us. They got 88 yards as opposed to a total of 6 against us. I think they also got right around the same number of passing yards, and we went to a very soft passing zone, defense after we were up 34-7 or whatever it was. Or 10 or whatever. So I'm hoping we're starting to get to know who we are, but not sure. But that said, I don't know that we can rely on these statistics because of, there's no common opponent yet. And also we don't really know that UCLA has played anybody to speak of. Washington's probably the closest one to a decent team. Yet South Alabama had the best game against them. Okay, so let's take a look at some statistics, some comparisons. DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, UCLA starting quarterback, 1,211 passing yards versus Cam's 1,153 for those of you who like it set out the full proper way. So that's, 58 more yards for DTR. DTR definitely has a better completion percentage, 104 of 140 versus Cam's 95 of 139 for 68.3%. DTR's is 74.3. So 6% better on the completion percentage. But again, whose competition was better? I'm going to say, considering we went against Florida, and it was raining for part of that game, and boy, were we experimenting with some, youth there, as it were. So I think we've had the tougher schedule so far for sure. And Cam has been definitely better lately. Their yards per attempt are roughly equal, 8.6 for DTR and 8.3 for Cam. And their touchdown to interception ratio are both pretty good, 11-1 for DTR and 13-2 for Cam. So both of them are being very efficient with the ball and very very good as far as turnovers. As far as running backs are concerned, I believe, and I said this before, hate to be bashing on them because I do like all the guys and I think they have a lot of potential. I just hope they can step up their game and start being consistent in terms of opening up running lanes for our running backs. But right now, it's an oddity with the running game because the lead back for UCLA is Zach Charbonnet. He's got 65 attempts for 417 yards and 6.4 yards a carry. Our lead running back, Tavion Thomas, has 2 more carries for 295 yards. That is 122 yards less. Yes, I did that in my head. I like math. Call me crazy. And 4.4 yards a carry. That's 2 yards a carry less than Charbonnet. Also, 5 touchdowns to 4 for Charbonnet over Thomas. Charbonnet's long was 46 yards versus 28, so he's a little bit more explosive as far as the big play is concerned this year. Now, both quarterbacks can run and run very effectively. DTR has more yards, and he has the longer run, but Cam has the better yards per carry average by a full yard at 8.2 to 7.2. Now, they both run for a fair bit of yardage, and it's relatively close. It's 223 for DTR and Cam at 189. Cam's got 8 fewer carries than DTR, and Cam's long is 29 versus 68 for DTR, and 3 touchdowns for Donovan Thompson-Robinson, which is what DTR stands for those of you who were wondering and did not know that fact. And Cam has uno touchdown. Got it last game. Heck of an effort to get it. So beyond that, running backs. You've got Keegan Jones for UCLA, who's also played a decent role. Beyond that, nobody's done a significant body of work this year for UCLA. Keegan has 45 attempts at 188 yards and 4.2 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. 25 yards is his long. After Cam, it's Jalen Glover with 37 carries, 153 yards at 4.1 yards a carry. I really think that with an offensive line that's a little bit better at picking up linebackers who are trying to shoot the gap, or with just pushing them off the line, I really think that you give Jalen Glover a little bit more wiggle room, and I think he'll bust a few more long runs and get that YPC up. That's yards per carry, folks. Most of you knew that. I'm just kidding. I'm sure y'all knew that. I'm just having a little fun, And then, of course, we can't forget Mekhi Bernard with 25 rushes for 138 yards at 5.5 YPC. And Wise PC, really, because yards, plural, so really should be wise. And not like WISE, but YS. But again, you knew that. So anyway, Mekhi has 1 touchdown and 36 yards as his longest run from scrimmage. Now the wide receiver. Now remember I said that it's kind of interesting because even though UCLA's lead back is doing quite a bit better than our lead back in terms of total yardage, yards per carry, and that kind of thing. They're very similar in attempts, 65 for Charbonnet and 67 for Tavion. Their rushing yardage is very close, and somehow I forgot to write that down, but it's about 1,000. Let's see, I thought I wrote that down. Anyway, it's about 1,067 or something like that for Utah, and 1,071 for UCLA. The big difference in offense in terms of total yardage comes with a little bit bigger disparity in the passing game. Total yardage overall for UCLA is 2,532, and Utah's 2,268. In their passing game, they've got a couple hundred more yards than we do. I think maybe even a little bit more than that. But we both have the same number of TDs from our offense. Our offenses. At UCLA has 13 on the ground and 13 through the air. We've got 12 on the ground and 14 through the air. Kind of funny since we are more typically of a running team, but we've got more passing touchdowns. Part of that's, Dalton Kincaid, who's got 5 through the air. So as far as who to watch with the wide receivers, you've got to keep your eye out on UCLA's Jake Bobo. Big receiver at about 6'5", 215 pounds or so. Great hands, decent speed. But when you're that big, you can use your body to just really kind of keep the cornerback or whoever else might be guarding you at bay. So Jake Bobo's only got 21 receptions, but he's got which is still, 4 receptions a game on average. Actually 4.2, just to be accurate. 363 yards for 17.3 yards a catch. As long as 40, and he's got 3 TDs. Then you've got a couple of others behind him that have, actually you've got 4 more receivers that have over 100 yards. receiving in the season. For us, Bailey is our leading receiver at 21 receptions, 269 yards. Part of that is due to a big game that he had last week, which was 7 receptions and 94 yards. Good for him. He's also got 3 Ds, one of those coming last week on that second extra effort that he gave. Mekhi Bernard is second with regard to receptions and yards at 14 and 143. No touchdowns for him, but he's averaging 10.2 while Bailey is averaging 12.8. Other than that, Parks, Enos, and Dixon all have 7, 8, and 5 respectively, with not a ton of yardage. 101 for Parks. Enos and Dixon have 62 and 61. But you can't expect anybody to be lighting the world on fire when your total yardage from Cam is 1153, and then I think that Bryson Barnes has 88 or something like that, maybe 100, something right around there in terms of passing yards. So our tight ends are doing well. Kincaid has 19 receptions, 257 yards, and Yasmin, thanks to that 72-yard reception he had, has 106 yards and 3 receptions. So, we've got, if you've been watching and paying attention to Utah football, we like to spread the ball around. We've got a lot of weapons. Whereas, while there are choices for UCLA, they definitely lean a lot more on Charbonnet and Jake Bobo. Those are the 2 guys at running back and receiver that they really lean on. Tight ends aren't a huge deal for them. And of course, DTR is having a very good game. The last time we played him was 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? I don't know. I don't think I can't remember if we played them in 2020 or not. I think it might have been 2019. But the last time we played him, we did a really good job for the most part on him, if I remember correctly. Go ahead and look that up. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments below. So that brings us to who in the heck are we and who in the heck is UCLA? Well, we're favored again. We're 4-1 against the spread. ATS. If you don't know what ATS is, now you do. You learned it here. You heard it right here. ATS, against the spread. We are 4-1. The only one we didn't cover was the one that we were favored to win and lost, and that was Florida. So at 4-1 against the spread, and boy, we way more than covered it last week against I think, a very good Oregon State team. And we're favored. I've heard 3.5. I've seen 4.5, somewhere in there. And I think if we win, we cover. I think we're going to win by more than that. I think we'll win by at least a touchdown. I don't think it'll be by just a field goal. I'd love to see double digits. That would be awesome. And I'd really love to see us hold UCLA. UCLA, by the way, is averaging 506.2 yards a game. We're averaging 453 and change. So both offenses are really solid as far as those averages are concerned. Ours came down last week when we only got 360-something yards, 61 or something like that against Oregon State. So, I think, that's quite a bit less than what we were averaging. So, good on Oregon State again. But so I think that both teams are going to be able to move the ball. I'm hoping that we've solidified some of the things we're doing with our young defensive line. I hope that our linebackers are getting coached up. I'm sure they are. And that they can play a very competent game. And I'm hoping that our cornerbacks and, I'm guessing we're going to see Clark at nickelback again. And when we see him at nickelback, I'm thinking that Zamiah Vaughn will be in at the other corner. I really like Zamiah. He made some good plays last week, and he's fast as heck, and he's got great size for a cornerback at 6'2". And then our safeties, I think, are playing really well. Cole Bishop, by the way, you may have noticed my Rising shirt. This is one of those things that's true NIL. Our players, when you buy one of their shirts, get some of the money from it. I don't know how much. I hope it's most of it, but who knows. I also have a Bishop shirt that looks just like this. And I got the little TTAL pin, or TJAL pin. I don't know why I said TT. Thinking Tavion Thomas. And that was $10, and that goes directly to the scholarship fund, the Memorial Scholarship Fund for them. So I like to contribute any way I can and help the players out, support them. So pick yourself up at one of these awesome shirts in the bookstore or online or however you like to do your shopping. But there's my little pub for those guys. But so yeah, Bishop and RJ Hubert as the safeties. I hope all of them have the best game of the season so far. And then I hope next week they do it again, another little incremental improvement against UCLA. But hopefully we get pressure on DTR. Hopefully we also contain him, because the guy is fast and elusive. So if we get out of position and we're not maintaining our lanes, we're going to have trouble with him in the running portion of his game, and I'm sure he'll break a few if we aren't careful. We'll probably have some sort of a spy on him. That is great, but it doesn't always work. So, we need to be assignment sound. As far as our offense is concerned, I hope Tavion is back with some bit of normalcy and that he has a big game. I hope that if he's not, that Jalen and Mackay can step up and do really well in his stead. And maybe, of course, JJ as well, Jaquindon Jackson. Beyond that, I hope Cam does what Cam does. I hope he can get some good runs while staying safe and staying out of harm's way. I hope he passes for a great passing percentage and that he has a number of targets he's able to throw to. Jalen Dixon played really well last week. I'm hoping that he steps up and continues his progress, making great catches, and that we can target him a little bit more as we gain confidence in him. But Bailey proves to be, a good solid target that we can go to for a number of targets every game, and maybe he can break a couple for some big plays beyond just kind of the 15 to 20 yarders that he had last week. Beyond that, Dalton Kincaid definitely needs to be more involved than 3 receptions for 17 yards like he was last week, and Witt said the same thing. He called me and asked it what I thought, and I told him, and so he said, yeah, I'm going to go with that. Come on, if you're buying that, well, you're crazy, man. No, anyway. But that is the fact. I'd like to see who else is going to step up. Munir McLean had a good play last week. He caught the ball, it was like a 5-yard catch, and then made a couple moves and got an extra 7 or so yards. So I'd like to see him maybe get another couple of targets. Yasmin, I think, had 1 catch for 5 yards. I'd like to see if we can get him, some kind of a decent play or two. He had that great post, I think it was against SUU when he had that post, and Bryson Barnes threw a beautiful ball to him. Anyway, we got our work cut out for us. It's at UCLA at 12:30. That's, I think that's their time, and it's 1:30 our time. I'll have to double check, so don't quote me on that. Look it up on ESPN.com or on whatever, So that's that. Hopefully they have their work cut out for them more than we do for. They have their work cut out for us more than we do for them. That's what I meant to say. So again, please like and subscribe. Score Challenge is on, baby. Let me know your thoughts, not only on the game, but what the score will be. What do you think the score will be? Do we cover the spread? Are we going to win? Are we going to be 5-1 and drag them down with their first loss so that they are no longer undefeated and they're 5-1 as well? Let's see. I think we're gonna. I don't think we'll break 40. I'd love to break 40 again. That's always fun to break 40. I think we're gonna go with 38, and I think they get. I hope we hold them to lower, but I think they get 28. I wouldn't be surprised if they broke the 30s and got 31. We won by a touchdown. That'd be great. I'm not even going to think about losing, so don't even go there. What's your score? Put it down below for a chance to win the $5 challenge. And Lanky Boy 1, I need your contact information, like an email address, so that I can Venmo you your prize. And beyond that, it's a great day to be a Ute. Pick yourself up a shirt and go Utes!